From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordo, and this is your News 8 Daily for Thursday, August 8th. Temps are starting out warm this morning. You're probably noticing that mugginess in the air. Expect the humidity to increase as the day goes on. Highs will reach the mid to upper 80s. Vice President JD Vance visits Indianapolis today. Governor Mike Braun says he and the vice president will talk about several issues, most notably the possible redrawing of congressional districts to help Republicans in next year's midterm elections. News 8's Colin Bailey is at the State House with more on JD Vance's short visit.
News 8 learned that Vice President JD Vance will be here in the city for only a handful of hours. What we do know is that he will be meeting with Governor Mike Braun and also attending a Republican fundraiser as well. Earlier this week, the governor confirmed that he would talk about rewriting Indiana's congressional districts to possibly help Republicans hold slim majority in the House. This started in Texas, where President Trump asked Republicans there to break from precedent and redraw districts outside of the normal time frame. It's usually done after the census comes out every 10 years. States led by Democrats such as California and New York responded with their own threats to change congressional maps. And that is leading the vice president to travel to other states controlled by Republicans to see if they're willing to do the same. This past Tuesday, the governor was asked whether Indiana should join the movement to shore up Republican control of the House in this unprecedented way.
So I think when it comes to how we are set up, I think when Republicans redid it in 2010, post then, it was to address that. So here it would have to be based upon the fact that maybe areas aren't being represented well with the current configuration as the only logic behind it. And it would beg the question in some of the places where it does look very peculiar. A lot of them are in blue states, some are in red states. Ours looks fairly reasonable.
Right now, Democrats hold only 2 of Indiana's 9 House seats. Indianapolis Congressman Andre Carson holds one of them. He blasted President Trump's efforts on social media, saying, quote, "Redistricting attempts in Indiana are a power grab. It's unethical and the move of a dictator, not a democracy." And opponents of the redistricting plans plan to have a rally here at the State House behind me throughout the entire day. And we'll have team coverage on Wish TV all day long. For now, outside of the State House, I'm Colin Bailey for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
New on Daybreak, President Trump's wide-ranging tariffs are now in effect on products from countries around the world. More than 60 countries are included. The numbers vary by each government's deal with the United States. 10% is the baseline tariff, but some face far more. The average is 18.3%. The nonpartisan Budget Lab at Yale reports the levies are now at the highest levels in nearly a century. The president says it will encourage more companies to move production of goods to the United States. An IndyCar star says he is shocked Pato O'Ward's car number was featured in a social media post announcing a new immigrant detention center in Indiana. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem posted the AI-generated image on social media this week. She calls the facility the Speedway Slammer. The post showed an Indy car with the number 5 on it. Pato O'Ward is from Mexico and drives car number 5 in the IndyCar circuit. Yesterday, he told the Associated Press, "I was just a little bit shocked at the coincidences of that, of what it means. I don't think it made a lot of people proud, to say the least." A federal appeals court has halted an Indiana law that requires a 25-foot buffer zone between police officers and bystanders. The law aimed to prevent close-range video recording of officers. An updated version of the law passed through the State House this year and is now in effect. It requires an officer to believe onlookers are interfering before ordering them back. IT-Mate is pouring its efforts, if you will, into water worries in Alexandria. Lisa Summers tells us a child in the area fell ill with E. coli, so Summers tested her water. She says she sent a sample to the Hoosier Microbiological Laboratory, and the test came back positive for E. coli and other coliform bacteria. The town says it investigated and tested and got negative results.
I feel like they want to not necessarily hide it, but it's just like they don't want to fix the problem. It's too big of a problem to be fixed. That's how I feel.
Summers says she is now buying water. go to Jane King with your business headlines. She starts with Indianapolis-based Lilly's newly posted earnings report.
Lilly did beat earnings and revenue expectations, but they also released results of a clinical trial this morning of the obesity pill, very highly anticipated, and it showed that the average participant lost 12% body weight. Investors had been wanting at least 15%, so that was a little disappointing, and about 25% of the participants dropped out of the study for no reason. Some reported side effects. So bottom line, Wall Street disappointed with these results. Now, CEO David Ricks was just on CNBC. He says he is not disappointed and will submit these to the FDA with anticipation for that obesity pill to be approved at some point later this year. So we'll watch that, but the shares are down this morning. Well, student loan delinquency rates are the highest in 21 years. Federal Reserve data shows almost 13% of loans are entering serious delinquency after the pandemic payment pause ended. And New York Federal Reserve researchers say that the student loan delinquencies would likely continue to rise. Eventually, they think returning to the pre-pandemic levels, which would be about 11%. And Airbnb says travel demand picked up over the summer. Airbnb says overseas travel was especially strong, and people are spending more nights at places. Airbnb's report follows the lukewarm forecast from another travel company, Booking Holdings, which said that worsening economic uncertainty will weigh on travel demand. And President Trump said he will impose a 100% tariff on imports of semiconductors and chips, but not for companies that are building in the U.S. Specifics about the plan, such as how much U.S. manufacturing a company would need to do in order to be exempt from the tariffs, were not immediately clear. And those remarks came after Trump touted a commitment by Apple to invest another $100 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years. Okay, stocks coming off a positive session, kind of a sluggish day, but we did close higher. And this morning, the broader markets are looking higher. Dow's pointing up 250. Live from the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King. Back to you.
Colts kick off their preseason tonight in Baltimore. Head coach says Anthony Richardson will start tonight, but he's not locked in as the team's starting quarterback. News 8 sports director Anthony Calhoun is in Baltimore with more on the fight for the top spot.
You know, the Colts actually had yesterday off as they continue to work through this training camp. And speaking of training camp, the big conversation has centered around, yes, the quarterback position. Who's going to start week 1 for your Indianapolis Colts? Will it be Anthony Richardson or will it be Daniel Jones? I had a chance to go one-on-one with Colts superstar running back Jonathan Taylor. And how about this, folks? Since Taylor's time in Indy, he's had 10 different starting quarterbacks he's played with for the Horseshoe. Well, today, he's going to give us some good insight on this quarterback competition.
Number one, I think it's a huge advantage overall for our offense to have two guys that are kind of similar to one another. I know in the past we've kind of had distinct play style quarterbacks, so game plan could change, but with us needing to lean on both of them throughout the year, I think that they've both been pushing each other. Daniel make a play, then Anthony will make a play, and vice versa.
Despite all the questions at quarterback, Taylor, who's entering his 6th season with the Colts, knows he has to stay focused and do what he can to help this team make the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. The Colts running back told me facing one of the best teams in the NFL, the Ravens, this week in a joint practice was beneficial to the Colts. It's one thing to go up against another team in the NFL, but we're talking about the Ravens. A lot of folks have this team and possibly go into the Super Bowl. How big of a day was it for y'all?
It's a real big day. We've been going against each other for a while, but it's nice to go against some other color jerseys, some different guys, different schemes. And like you said, a really good team over there. So against a chance to work some of our stuff. I think it was a great day. Both sides were competing back and forth, and that's what you want. You want to be able to create that edge going into the season.
And Colts fans, as we get ready for that preseason game coming up tonight, don't forget, you got to download the All Indiana Sports app. Everything you need to know about your football team, it is right there on this app. Scan that QR code, download it today for the latest on your football team. I'm telling you, you're going to get alerts and just the latest profiles on the players and so much more is right there on the All Indiana Sports app. Now, just a reminder once again, Anthony Richardson, he gets the start here tonight for the Colts as they get set to take on the Ravens. Daniel Jones, he'll start next week for preseason game number 2 against the Green Bay Packers. Of course, we got you covered. Live coverage coming your way, coming up tonight here from Baltimore as the Colts and the Ravens get ready to battle week 1 of the preseason in the NFL. On the road with the Colts, Anthony Calhoun, Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Happening today, BMV Discount Day at the Indiana State Fair. If you go to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles website, you can print out or download a voucher that will get you in the gates for just $8. Sheep dominate the 4-H events today, with young contestants fitting their entries, showing ooze and displaying their halter and lead line skills, all at the Blue Ribbon Pavilion. The band America performs on the free stage tonight at 7:30. You can also go see this year's cheese sculpture at the State Fair. The artist unveiled it yesterday. She says the sculpture is made out of 1,400 pounds of white and cheddar cheese from a dairy farm in Crawfordsville. She also tells us it's in tune with this year's fair theme.
We always combine with the theme of the fair, and this year is Soundtrack of Summer. So we make our jukebox, we have the dancing cow playing guitar, we have all our little animated milkshake, the lime shake is in there. They're all animated and they're all singing.
You can see the sculpture at the Ag Building until the fair ends. After that, organizers say it will be taken to Biotown Ag. That's a sustainable farm in Reynolds, and it will be turned into energy. The fair is also offering live cheese carving sessions with the sculptor. Okay, this story could either make or break your breakfast plans. Smoothie King is now offering a ketchup smoothie. It's part of a partnership with Heinz. Companies call it the first of its kind. If you want one, Smoothie King says it's only available for a limited time, and you can not get one here in central Indiana. You have to drive up I-65 if you have the craving and go to the stores in the northwest corner of the state. They should have them there. Disney says it's merging its two streaming apps into one. Disney executives announced yesterday that Disney Plus and Hulu will integrate into one app by next year. Two services already overlap in a lot of areas, so there's no word yet if the new app will have a total new name. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and wishtv.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.